it was a bit chaotic for a little while, but everybody came together and it all worked out. The flyover was amazing. It's the first military flyover we've had in several years. But the way this whole thing went down is just so cool. And it turns out that one of the pilots that flew over yesterday is Captain Nicholas Hanna, who is from Utica, and he's on the line right now. Captain, good morning.
Morning. How are you?
Well, we're very impressed. I felt that it was a wonderful flyover. It was pretty darn impressive.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, it seemed like everything ended up working out well in the end. Obviously, there was a lot that went into flexing with the situation yesterday morning, but the UPD did a great job making sure everybody was safe and that we were able to stick to the schedule.
I know that Senator Griffo was able to put together and work along with Sheriff Mashel and put together the helicopter. They flew you down after. I mean, how long does it take to get from the brewery to the air base in Watertown? How long did that take?
So we climbed out pretty quick because there's, speed limits below certain altitudes, and we were able to go out there in probably about 10 minutes.
Wow, that's crazy.
My goodness.
That's crazy. So then they helicopter you down over to Griffiths. The sheriff's department picks you up, and they bring you quickly to the Boilermaker. And but I got to tell you, the response people gave to you was really incredible yesterday.
Yeah, it was really special. It was nice to see the results of it, because obviously from the jet you look down and you see there's lots of people, but you don't see the looks on their faces type of thing. So
yeah.
I could tell when I got down there that it was appreciated, and so that was nice to see.
What's it like having a family reunion right on the stage of the Boilermaker Post Race Party? Because it's kind of what you did. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it was really nice. Usually when I get into town, I try to, see everybody, but it was nice to have one central event like that everyone was excited for and got to see some faces I haven't seen in a while, and it was really nice, both friends and family.
Yeah.
So one of our friends of the show, Greeley, messaged in this morning, curious if the low cloud cover made them fly even lower than usual. It was awesome. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually was a little worried when I woke up yesterday morning and saw the clouds, because they were, when I woke up, too low. But the ceilings ended up rising up, and what caused that is just the winds off of the lake, and the moisture being pushed over, and the way the wind blows is how far it carries over to Utica. So up in Fort Drum, the clouds actually were worse. But then as an hour or two went by, as we're up at Drum, I see that it's clearing up at Drum, and I've got contacts down here, and it was clearing up here. And there was still cloud cover, but the ceilings of it were able to facilitate us doing our normal flyover profile.
It's interesting.
We're at 1,000 feet.
At 1,000 feet. That's really cool. It's interesting because I noticed that some of the Boilermaker staff, they were sending you photos from the roof of the skyline and the cloud cover. So that was the reason for that, then.
Yes, that's the reason for it. And we were a little bit concerned, so we were scoping it out a little bit. So just trying to make sure that, because the weather got worse south to north. I don't know if you remember seeing that. So that's why after we did the flyover south to north, we ended up climbing up through the weather as quickly as we could, really just so that we can get on top of it, because the tops weren't very high.
I do have to say, my wife was reporting to me. She was not at the Boilermaker. We live to the south of the brewery, and I don't know, probably about 8 miles. And she said you guys were flying around, and actually we heard it from a guy in Bridgewater this morning that they got their own little show of your jets kind of flying around their houses to the south.
Yeah, we were. So the way we do it is, so the plan we had set here was really nice for us, in that you get you running it, and then also the singers up there had a time, and you're going to stick to the time, and that coordination worked well. However, I've heard of flyovers, because this is my first one that I've done for a national anthem. Where, odds of it starting on time and ending on time are very slim. And so what you do is you hold exactly the amount of time out, that about 8 miles that it takes you to go in the song, as it gives you a little bit to catch up and go back. Oh. And then you fly perpendicular to the event. And so that's what we were doing, was flying east to west, because we were going to run in south to north, so that if at any point in time we got a call that was like, hey, the song just started, we could turn in and make timing.
That's
why we ended up flying over Paris, pretty much, the town of Paris.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
right south. That's awesome.
That's exactly it. And I got to tell you, you were right on. It was right on a dime. It was just perfect as you guys flew by. Tell me a little of your history. You're a Proctor grad, and then give us a bit of your military background and what you've done and all of that stuff.
Yeah. Graduated Proctor in 2003. Took some classes at MVCC. I ended up enlisting in the Air Force in 2006 as a crew chief on F-16s, active duty. I ended up going to New Mexico. I was stationed out in Utah. I ended up going to Guam just on a trip from there. And then I got picked up after I got in the military. I picked up classes again and got picked up for an enlisted commissioning program. And chose to go back to school back home because I'd been away from home, for a little while, and I knew I was going to be. So I came back, attended classes at SUNY Poly for computer science, and then did Syracuse ROTC.
Wow.
For that, and then since I've been a pilot, I've been out at there's training out at Luke in Arizona. I've been at Oklahoma, Fort Worth in Texas with a reserve unit out there, and then now I'm an instructor at the B course. That's our F-16 initial training for the most part out at Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico.
Wow. Hey, is there a better job in the military than being a pilot? I mean, it's pretty cool.
Well, to each his own, I guess. I love it. I wouldn't do anything different. Specifically, what we're doing now out at Holloman, I've been trying to stay a little bit longer because I really enjoy. One, the area out there is nice, and then two, the mission that we do, which is training super motivated new pilots out there. So
it's incredible, and what is incredible too is what you can accomplish in one of those planes. And I mean, we saw it firsthand. Kind of firsthand, 9/11, of watching how those jets went in the air, and the airspace was suspended, and a lot of that was dictated out of Griffiths. It's really incredible as you guys are you're able to mobilize so quickly to keep us safe. It's really amazing.
Yeah, that's our job. That's what we train for. So it's good to hear that.
So just a quick question, and maybe you're not the best person to ask, but for the longest time, and maybe it's been since 9/11, we heard that we couldn't do the real flyover like we used to have. How did this come to be again?
Well, so 2009 was the last F-16 flyover. That was done by the 174th out at Syracuse, and they had F-16s. And the reason they would always support was because it was right down the road, and they're very familiar with the Boilermaker and all those sorts of things. After that, they went to MQ-9s, and then the flyover situation in general was not good because it was right when sequestration happened. So they were kind of turned off for a little while. Once they were turned back on, there were just no F-16s around here to support, even though the Boilermaker is an eligible event for a flyover. So what ended up happening was I knew that the Boilermaker every year tries to get the approval, sometimes hitting roadblocks. This year, Senator Griffo helped out with that. But knowing that it was approved and knowing that it wasn't getting support, at my unit, I was pretty much told, hey, if you can leave on a Friday and get back on a Monday because we need the jets for training, obviously. But those were the constraints. Absolutely, we'd like to spread the Air Force story and support flyovers and not leave them unfilled if there's something that's that you want to do that's important to you. So I was able to call up the Boilermaker 6 months ago or so, 5 months, and let them know, hey, I would like to make this happen. I have a vested interest in this as well. This is what my big introduction to the Air Force was as a child as well, when I look up and see jets flying over Utica. So hopefully there were some kids that looked up and saw the jets, and maybe some seeds are planted there.
That is so cool.
It is incredible.
And that shows you the value of the flyovers. I mean, you're the example, the perfect example. You were at the Boilermaker. You saw it happen. It inspired you to become a pilot. That's a great story.
Yeah, it definitely motivated me to pursue something. Gave me direction in my life.
Listen, I saw you walking up, and I expected to see the Righteous Brothers start. So you never close your. Holy crap! It's Top Gun.
Yeah.
Wow. There is a little romance to it, man. I'm going to tell you, the ladies had their eye on these pilots walking in there. It was really
more than Jose, which was surprising.
That is right. So, well, listen, Captain Nicholas Hanna, so cool. And so awesome that you could do this and get home to see family and provide this for us here. Thank you so much for the service that you provide and to the country. And again, thanks for coming on this morning.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Keeler. It was nice talking to you.
All right. Captain Nicholas Hanna. Don't call me Mr. I don't deserve that respect.
Thank you for your service.
All right.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks so much. Okay.
See ya.